Right to buy. So today I'm going to be talking about right to buy. Now, right to buy is where you get a discount on your property if you're a council tenant. So this is for people that have been council tenants for more than 3 years, or they're building up to being council tenants for 3 years, and they're interested in knowing how they can buy their property with no deposit. Yeah, that's right. So I will be talking about the criteria that you need, the discounts and everything else that you need to know. It will be a 2024 update. Now, who am I? My name is Manda. I like to call myself the mortgage coach because I've helped hundreds of people get mortgage ready. And I do that by combining mortgage advice with financial coaching. So that's how you get the mortgage coach. Now, today, what I'm going to do is go through it one by one and talk about the information. Now, firstly, let's get to grips. The most important thing is the discount. Now, the good thing about the discount is you can use it as a deposit. That's right, you don't need any money at all to buy your first property. There are additional costs, which I'll talk about later on in the video, but when I talk about getting a mortgage will literally be for the amount that doesn't include the discount, and the discount will be the actual amount that the council gives you a discount for. So let's get started. Firstly, when you're looking to get a right to buy property, the first thing you do is you go to the council and you make an application. Now, once they've received that application, and the people who do the application have to equal the people that are on the tenancy. So if you're living in a council property but you're not on that tenancy, you can't apply for the right to buy. So you can't actually buy that property. Whoever is on the tenancy can do it. But of course, before that, step one would be consider who wants to buy the property and make sure they're on the tenancy. So do that first. That's the first step. Have a discussion and decide whether it's just the two of you, or you want your kids, or however you want it to be the people buying the property. And then that way, what you can actually do is make that application, either put more people or take people off that tenancy agreement. And then once you've done that, then you can apply. Make sure that one of the people that has always been on there stays on, and that gives you the right to the continuous discount. If you take everybody off who's been on there for over 3 years and put brand new people on, they could actually see that as you haven't had the property long enough, or they might offer you less of a discount. Now, I will be putting in links where you can go on a calculator to put in how much the property's worth, what kind of, how many years you've been there for, what borough you're in, that kind of thing, and then it should give you a discount. But a general rule, generally speaking, is currently in 2024, I mean, post April, so after April 2024, as of now of this posting, the maximum discount you can get if you're in England, that's outside of London, is 102,400. That's right, it's 102,400. And then if you're in a borough of London, you can get 136,400. That's right, 136,400. So for example, if you were buying a property in if you were buying a property in London, for example, and it is, say, 336,000, you would be paying 200,000, because 136,000 would be coming off of the discount if you're entitled to the maximum. Again, I will put the link to the calculator so you can work that out. You've also got products called right to acquire. Right to acquire is when it's a housing association. Now, with a housing association, you can also apply, and you also get discounts. I will be giving information on that website to also say where you can look at the discount. I know it used to be 16,000, and a more up-to-date will be on the website, so check that out. Now, what you need to do is, after you've made the application, you have to wait to hear back. Now, they'll get back to you, and they'll also send out a valuer. Now, when they send out the valuer, a little tip: don't do your place up. Please, please, please don't start painting and decorating and making it look nice. Make it look as bad as possible, because the lower they value the property, once you take the discount off, the lower the property costs, right? Once you own it, by all means, do it up to the hilt. But before they value it, don't do it up. That's a tip I would say to you. And then after that, after they've valued it, then you'll get a letter, and that letter is what you give to your mortgage advisor. So what normally happens is I get clients, they come in, they have their letter saying what discount they're getting, what the value of the property is. I plug the information in, and as long as their salary meets the rest of it, so say in my example earlier, the property they say is valued at 336k, as long as you can afford, whoever's on the tenancy is going to be on the mortgage, also on the application, so those three places, as long as a group they can afford the 200,000, then by all means you can apply for it, which is great for everybody, right? So if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and share. I think it's so important. I mean, everybody has a right to own their own home, and if you've been a tenant for more than 3 years, you've been paying your dues. You've been paying rent every single month. So don't think of it as a discount. Think of it as a saving plan that you've been paying into, and now they're finally paying out to you. So take advantage of it. You've been paying rent all this time to property that, to be honest, the council probably shouldn't even charge you rent. They own the property. They don't actually need the money, do they? Well, it's just to spend, but at the end of the day, they don't have a mortgage to pay. They're charging you rent and they don't have a mortgage to pay. So what could actually happen is you're paying that rent all the time. They've got no bills to pay against it. So that money is accumulating, and they give some of it back to you at discount. I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about how many years rent, some people have property, council properties for 10 years plus, and they still only get the maximum discount. So at the end of the day, yes, it's great that you get this lump sum discount against a property that you want to buy, but then also at the end of the day, you've been paying into it. So as I like to say, everybody has a right to own their own home. If you've got any questions about the right to buy and how it works, please, by all means, put it in the chat and I will talk to you about it. But the other thing I'd say is, not only have I done tons of right to buys, but I've done right to buy to let to buy. Now, I'll explain that in a nutshell. Now, basically what that is, it's when you buy a property under the right to buy, and as I said, sometimes you get a significant discount. That 136k in London and the I've forgotten, it's 102,400 outside of London, that can sometimes be a good 40% of the property. So if your mortgage, you're only mortgaging 60% of the property because the discount is 40%, you've got all that equity in that property. And what that means is, check with your borough, but once you've owned it for a certain length of time, you can also be allowed to actually rent that property out. So what I've done for previous clients is, we've got the initial buy-to-let mortgage and they've purchased it, and then several years later, depending on the borough, we've gone to the council and got permission to rent it out. Now, you ask them up front, once I've owned the property, for how long am I allowed to rent it, and they'll tell you. Sometimes it's 3 years, sometimes it's 5 years, it could be less. It really does depend on the borough. And then what you can do is you can move out. You can actually remortgage that property, and not only will the remortgage cover the current mortgage you've got on that property, but it can also cover a deposit for somewhere else. Isn't that great? And then all you do, I say all you do, obviously it's important, you need to be earning an income, but obviously any mortgage advisor will be able to talk you through that, as long as the figures match up for the new place, so minus the deposit, match up for the new place, then you can buy the new place where you can live, and your right to buy, your council property, can become your rental property, and you actually earn income from it. And that income, depending where you are, could be enough to cover the current mortgage you've got and the deposit for the next property. I hope you understand all this. I am going through this in a in a webinar on Saturday how to do a right to buy and let to buy. So by all means, please, please, please check out the link if it's something of interest to you. So I hope you've understood all of this. I hope it's been of value to you, because I do really believe that everybody has a right to own their own home. So what I will do is I'll say goodbye for now. But please, if you want to hear any more about mortgages and money matters, please subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share with other people, anyone you know who's got a council property and they don't know about how it all works, because it's amazing how many council tenants are out there and how few people actually go and get that right to buy. Thank you.